Hello everybody, today we'll be talking about the INFP versus the INFJ Myers-Briggs personality.
Molly, the person who talks about things.
So I am an INFJ, Enneagram 4 Wing 3, and 4s are typically associated with FI. If it were a function in the Myers-Briggs realm, it would be introverted feeling. So a lot of times INFPs type as type 4s, and so there can be some confusion and crossover if there's an INFJ 4, much like if there's an INFP, say, 2, because I feel like 2 Enneagram is very FE, extroverted feeling. If you don't know what I'm talking about, doesn't really matter. For those of you who aren't familiar with the functions, just ignore when I randomly am speaking in two-letter tongues. So the INFJ and INFP personality types look very similar to the outside eye. And I have a few INFP friends, and to other people we may look very similar, and also to each other we vibe well. But there are distinct differences, and here are some that I have noticed. Both types a lot of times have similar interests, where they care about humans and they care about abstract ideas and meaning. I think it just looks different how they explore them. INFPs are a bit more bouncy, and INFJs are a bit more tunnel vision. An INFP is more likely to maybe have more tabs up. But in the same sense, an INFJ might have a lot of tabs up too, but it's all to come to a sort of conclusion. So an INFP is more likely to be comfortable flowing where the conversation flows without having a sort of resolve onto the next thing. Whereas an INFJ, there are a lot of times when I'm talking to someone where I need to go back because we didn't finish talking about something, or I'm tempted to go back but I won't because I don't want to put a wrench in their step when they're already on a new flow. INFPs are introverts though, so they might be able to talk about one topic for a long time compared to, say, an ENFP, who might want to bounce more quickly than an INFP might want to bounce. If that makes sense. I've just noticed that introverts can stay on topic for a lot longer than extroverts generally. I think that both types can actually be moody. I think INFPs are more known for being moody than INFJs, but INFJs can also be moody. And I think they just might not realize it as much, and they might show it in their face, and someone else might pick up on it before they do. INFPs are likely to have a stronger moral code than an INFJ, not necessarily being that an INFJ is going to be immoral, but an INFP might cling to it more as an identity piece, where an INFJ can talk about it and have a stance, and but it's not as much a part of their identity or something that they are constantly thinking about and staying in check. If that fridge is really bothering you, keep watching because we're in this together. An unhealthy INFJ might look more like a martyr, or someone who's overextending themselves and doesn't have as strong of an identity, and they're just giving to other people and it's like whatever you need. Or they could also be a very manipulative, controlling biatch. An unhealthy INFP is going to be a brooding, moody, angsty poet. Yep, brooding, moody, angsty poet. Any type can be angsty, and any type can overextend themselves. So it can be kind of challenging to identify characteristics with certain types because, again, we're all just humans. INFPs, you can't really tell what they're feeling or thinking as much as you can INFJs, but it's funny because INFJs themselves might not be able to tell as much what they're feeling, but they might be able to tell what they're thinking more. But on their faces you can see it more. INFPs might like just deadpan. Like, I think INFJs are more likely to put things to action, so long as their perfectionism doesn't keep them from putting things out because they're scared that it's not good enough, which can be the case for both types. Both types can actually go on tangents and it seems like they're going nowhere, but sometimes I think INFPs are more inclined to go nowhere and have fun with that, and INFJs need to, I feel like it seems like they're going nowhere, but usually there's some sort of conclusion or thesis. And INFP can sometimes, they're more open to exploring just for the sake of exploring. So if they were to make a video, it might just be fun for them to think of, ooh, differences between the INFJ and INFP. Whereas an INFJ might be thinking, ooh, what can I do for my audience? Let's appease my audience. And think about the audience and also the whole concept. INFJs are more likely to be or appear conformist. They're more likely to fit into society, even though their functions might make it difficult for them to be really truly understood in said group or society. But INFJs will kind of drink the Kool-Aid before an INFP will drink the Kool-Aid. And you might see INFJs out there with various types, where you might see INFPs more likely in the comfort of their rooms with their sweatshirts. Yeah. Both can be hermits though, you know what I mean? We're introverts. But I think an INFJ is much more likely to look like an extrovert. Another parentheses, we might have social anxiety. There's so many other facets to a person than just these 4 letters. But I think INFJs are typically going to look more socially at ease in groups of people, whereas an INFP might look a little bit more like a weirdo, a cute weirdo. An INFP is likely to be more artistic than an INFJ. I think both types can be. Again, I'm an INFJ 4, and I'm pretty creative and write music and stuff, but I think you see that more with INFPs. You see INFPs writing music and painting and having an artistic endeavor that they're actually really good at, because they have their introverted feeling, which is just so deep, and they put it all out there with spurts of magic and wonder. INFPs have a lot of obscure hobbies. INFJs, I feel like they have a lot of times at least one weird hobby that involves their SE and an intense sort of focus on that. For example, for me, it's ping pong. Like, they'll get hard into something like that, and where they're just super focused and they just get really in tune with their SE. And I think in the same sense, INFPs experience that as well with their SI. Both types can be self-deprecative. We hold ourselves to high standards, so whether you're an INFP or an INFJ, we still can't decide. Just so you know, you are enough without the letters. You're human, and you're wonderful. Seriously, I see you. Is this realistic? I can see, that's kind of creepy. But you are awesome. And thanks for watching this video. If I think of anything else, I will maybe post a part 2. I'm sure that you all have your own ideas of the differences, and feel free to comment those below. And like, subscribe. Also had another thought, INFJs are more likely to have a conclusion to their video and maybe an intro instead of just cutting it off.